So, yeah, we have this group on a private platform that's a little bit less likely to get censored, where we can talk freely. And just for a few minutes, 5 or 10 minutes at the most, if we can just let them know a little bit about the sources of negative radiation in their houses and what precautions and things they need to remove and stuff like that you would want for yourself and your kids to be healthy.
Obviously, I'm a technologist, so technology all has risks, right? So obviously, if people use Wi-Fi, it's very, very convenient. What I'm going to tell you, it'll increase your diabetes. It's understand. It's like smoking. I'm not going to tell people not to smoke, right? If you fancy a cigarette, I might say to you, well, that's not healthy. But if that's your choice and you understand the risks, it's like drinking. I like to drink. I like to smoke. Not a great deal. Don't overdo it. Some people can't help themselves. That's up to them. It's all about personal decisions, but it's also all about intelligence. It's about understanding the risks. If you know the risks, you take the chance. That's up to you. I'm a great believer. In fact, I'm the greatest believer in people's civil liberties to do what they want to do.
Right. As long as it doesn't go and infringe on somebody else's rights.
Don't harm anybody else. I'll defend their right to the death, because their right to the death means the same. Because obviously, if they can pick one of us off, they'll pick all off. All right.
Yeah.
So I'll defend them to the death on their civil rights. So that's the issue that we've got. So I'm going to say to people, look, all microwave radiation in air is hazardous. All microwave radiation in air. None of it's safe. It's about mitigation, and it's about the amount of radiation you're being exposed to. So if you've got a deck phone in the house, they're pretty dangerous. If you've got a smartphone in the house, they're extremely dangerous. If you've got super duper Wi-Fi, it's extremely dangerous. So mitigate a Wi-Fi, make sure it's off, or get rid of it, and I'll tell you why. They can come into your home. We've got instances where people have hardwired their computer systems and the Wi-Fi's been returned on remotely. So when absolutely remotely, when people who are EMF sensitive started to get sick again, they've then thought it's somebody in the street who's fitted a new smart meter or other. We've then done a survey in the home, and we've found out that that router's been re-enabled by the technology company, unbeknownst to them.
So can you get one that does not have a Wi-Fi option, that is only hardwired, or can those not be trusted?
I don't think they can be. Well, I'm pretty sure somebody there needs to open a business, start manufacturing a one that can only be hardwired.
Yeah, true non-transmitting routers or routers, right?
True non-transmitting, so there's no wireless, it's just a physical wired router. That's what we need. We need somebody to start manufacturing.
You need to know that the manufacturer is trustable and that they didn't put a government backdoor in there to put it, some little transmitter.
Yeah. Well, I think we could. Somebody who does that will make a fortune.
Right, and for the moment, what do they do?
Well, at the minute you switch them off remotely, and then what happens? They can come and switch them back on. I'm all hardwired in this house. All hardwired. The Bluetooth's off on this laptop. The whole system's pulled down because the Bluetooth on laptops is dangerous. It can attack your teeth. They call it Bluetooth for a reason. They can attack your teeth. Do you know the amalgam in your teeth? The frequency of the Bluetooth is pretty toxic to the amalgam in your teeth. So you've got Bluetooth, you've got to be careful of. It's all about overburden. It's all about toxicity. So
when you say Bluetooth, I think of those things that people put next to their brain on their ears, right? But you're talking about a different kind of Bluetooth that's just in the laptop or something, right?
Yeah. You've got Bluetooth. It's attached on your smartphone, your laptop. All connecting devices have Bluetooth. You've got Bluetooth in the car. You've got Bluetooth. It's just another connecting. It's another.
So how do you turn it off?
You have to disable the system. You've actually got to go in and disable the systems in the cars, on your mobile phone, on your laptops.
Okay.
Once again, it's an issue because, I mean, I always switch mine off. I've always got it off on the mobile, always. Never use it, always switched off. And I'll keep checking it every 2 or 3 days, and the bastards keep switching it on because it's a remote way. It's a remote way for them to listen in for what you're doing.
Well, in the car too, Doug has been doing some tests with a little, low-end meter, a decent meter, and he went into one of the cars that's not too old, and all the accessories were turned off, and just started the engine. And there are so many transmitters that come on when you do that. There was super high radiation just from turning the key on.
It's to be honest, it's unbelievable. The equipment. I mean, electric cars. You've got an electric car. Anybody's got an electric car, get rid of it. They're really dangerous. They've only ever been tested for exposure to 30 minutes.
Extreme EMF, right? In electric cars.
Yeah, electric cars, horrendous. And the children. I mean, you see children. I expect people who've done their homework. You get an electric car if you're stupid enough to. Fine, but don't put your children in it. That's really toxic. So stay away from as much of this smart equipment as possible. Smart meter, definitely get it removed because they are lethal. They're currently running on very, very small amounts of energy output, and they're toxic enough, and the potential for them to turn it up is very high. They have the capacity to kill. They've got the capacity to not only kill, but to set fire to all the appliances in the house.
Well, so they've got these giant power supplies on a lot of them too, right? Like on the little small cell antennas have enough power to run 100 times what they need.
Well, exactly. Do you know, mobile phone, the transmitters we've got in the street lights, I mean, this was another thing. We do the transmitters in the street lights. I mean, your mobile phone operates on 3.5 electron-volt battery, 2.5 to 3.5, right? I think I've seen the odd one with 4. Now, your mobile phone antenna system, you can talk 20, 30 mile in distance, some sophisticated equipment in there, but you can understand the power it actually has. The street lights that we have in Gated, and you've got to remember there's 31,875 on every single street light, we've got an antenna. Now, this power supply to the street lights, 250, 240, 250 volts. It's pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time you get to the antenna, the meat and potatoes bit, they've actually got a capacitor on the board of 450 volts. 450. So why do you want to increase, instead of, because LED streetlights don't use a lot of electricity, so why
maybe they ran out of 250 capacitors, right, and they just had to get some other ones.
And put them on. Well, when you look at the expense of the board, I can buy a 12-volt board for like 50 pence. So you've got this piece of equipment sitting in the lights that's probably cost £200 or £300.
Right.
A very sophisticated piece of weaponry with a 450-volt capacitor. And I'm showing it to people going, well, I know what that's for. That's so I can shoot you. So I can actually fire a charge at you using this 450-volt capacitor. I mean, there's no other purpose for it. Or as an EMP. People think of EMPs as just one blast above the atmosphere somewhere, but actually you're talking about little EMPs all over the place, right? Well, I'm talking about 31,000 elements in a very small area like Gated, and at 450 volts, right? By the time I filled your building with microwave radiation, turned all your smart meters up, your smart devices in your home, I'll come in remotely in the middle of the night, turn all your smart devices up, and then get the whole place cooking, vibrating away with all this energy vibration, and the next minute, just fire that 450 volt outside on every single street light.
They're really trying to create world peace because nothing will be alive anymore.
It just kills everything. That'll just wipe it'll just totally vaporize everything.
When we do our next show, if you're open to it on some of these science things, we should get into the details of how the beams work and how they search for targets and all the interesting details of the operation.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. So for the moment, I think the bottom line of what you're advising is just, minimize your exposure any way that you can. get rid of like certain devices that are overwhelmingly deadly, like the dirty electricity generating electric cars and the unnecessary Wi-Fi in your house and office.
Smart meters generating electricity. Right. And not only that, they can attack and identify. They can identify other stressors in your electrical system. They can look at different devices and burn them out.
Right. Okay, well, and people, let's mention your website again for people that want to follow up on all this.
It's www.saveusnow.org.uk. So it's Save Us Now, all one word. And then there's the email, which is info@saveusnow.org.uk. And that's where you get the information. You know what I say to everybody? It is incumbent on all of us to build the army of resistance. It's why they hate me with a passion.
Yeah.
I've got a plan. Not my plan, God's plan.
And you're not, why Save Us Now, you're not say let's sit around and wait to get saved. You're saying that everybody has to participate in that, right?
Absolutely. There's nobody coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. The movement, the Save Us Now movement, is the sun. It's the sun's rising. The sun's rising, waking humanity up. S-U-N. Sun's rising, waking humanity from their sleep. Well, you're not asleep, you're dead. The corporations already have you down as a cadaver, as a dead person. We have to wake you up, because I'm telling you now, you die this time, no coming back. This is a spiritual war without doubt. If you'd asked me 2 years ago, I would have said, you're off your head. I mean, I've never ever been religious in my life. When I used to go into churches when I was a kid, I used to get the heebie-jeebies. I mean, I used to like, ooh, something not right in here. Well, now I know why, because it's the devil's house. All right, I know exactly why I don't like going into churches, because I now know what God, and I know about the whole Roman, sort of Luciferian thing. And I mean, this just came to me in the last, it's got to be 8 months, 9 months, where somebody rang us up and said, who's that who came up with that sun party? And it was me, and there was a lady from Scotland, a prophet, and she went, it's you. And I went, what do you mean it's you? She went, it's you, Mark. And I went, that's me, Mark. She went, Steele, the sword. I went, Steele, I know that means sword. She went, yes, double-edged sword, truth and light. The sun's rising. She said, it's you. I went, I'm like,
yeah. I mean, every person is the star of this movie.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, what you don't want to be is an extra in it. You need to be party to it. This is historical. Yeah. We are making history. And when we come out the other side of this, what a fantastic world we're going to live in. But I'll tell you now, it doesn't come easy. We have to fight. We've got to fight. We're fighting for our lives. See, it's easy for me to say that because I know the weapon very well. I know the technology. It is scary. It is frightening for most people, but I'm going to tell everybody this. We win. God never loses. Right. But I really have to fight.
And fear has never been useful for anything anyway.
No, I'm not afraid. I should have been dead. If it wasn't for God, I'd have been dead a while ago. I took that on the chin. Thing's kill you anyway, so it's fine.
It just means your work's not done yet.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. And I really, when we get the main broadcast recorded and finished, sending out over the air, we'll send it to you to share, I hope. And that way you can use it for an educational tool. And I really would like to come back and do some stuff on how science really is supposed to be understood, that it's not intimidating, it's not impossibly complicated. It can be translated into understandable language that really helps you. And I think that would be exciting.
It's not complicated at all. If you get a passion for it, remember I worked with I worked with a nuclear physicist. I'll not name him. because obviously he didn't get his permission.
Yeah.
Lovely fella. I mean, very, very bright. I've met some fantastic, very intelligent academics, by the way. Some very, very intelligent people. But they're the ones that are very, very unassuming. The unassuming, but, you know, when you start to talk, they've got minds like computers.
Right.
And, you know, we used to sit and have chit-chats about, you know, the nuances of the universe. And this guy was a nuclear physicist, and some of the things he's come up with, I just think, shit, that's fantastic. And taught about science, and you know I was a young engineer, and that's what sparked my interest in science. Yeah. I have a passion for science. You know, it's passion. It's not like hobby. It's not something, you know, a lot of people that do science as a job, I mean, it must be a nightmare. No,
real work is fun. Yeah. So I think we'll enjoy it. Okay. So I'm going to get ready for another meeting, and I really appreciate it. It's always really fun to get to talk to you. And yeah, I hope we covered everything that you wanted, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. At least.
Yeah, okay. So have a good night, and let's talk soon about when we can do it again.
All right, thanks for that. Cheers, Richard.
Sleep well.
Thanks.